The day my son told me to act poor, I didn't know I was walking straight into a trap built to humiliate me. My name is Nana May. I'm 74 years old, and this is the confession I never thought I'd have to make. It began with a phone call that came too early in the morning, the kind of call that tightens your chest before you even answer. I was in the kitchen, stirring tea leaves slowly, carefully, like I'd done every morning for 40 years. The kettle hissed. The clock ticked. The house smelled like cardamom and memory. My phone buzzed on the table. My son's name, Kamal. I wiped my hands on my dupatta and answered. Amy, he said quickly. Too quickly. We need to talk. My heart sank. When a son says that, I thought, nothing good ever follows. What is it? I asked, keeping my voice gentle. There was a pause, a breath. Then his tone changed. Lower, controlled. My in-laws want to meet you. I smiled instinctively. Oh, I said. That's wonderful. When? Another pause. But this one was longer. They are very different people, Amy, he said carefully. They're wealthy. I laughed softly. So, wealth doesn't frighten me. He exhaled sharply. It should. That made me sit down. Kamal, I said slowly. What are you trying to say? He hesitated. Then, I need you to act simple. I blinked. Simple. Yes, he continued, rushing now. Poor. Naive. Don't talk about the past. Don't mention Abba's business. Don't wear jewelry. Please. My fingers tightened around the phone. Why? I asked. Another silence. Because if they know the truth, he said, they might reject the marriage. There it was. The first knife. You want me to lie, I said quietly. Not lie, he corrected. Just don't correct them. I felt something crack in my chest. Kamal. I whispered. I raised you alone after your father died. I worked 2 jobs. I protected our dignity with my own hands. And now you want me to pretend I'm less than I am? Amy, he snapped, frustration leaking through. This is important. Please don't ruin this for me. Ruin. That word burned. I will do what's best for my son, I said finally. But inside, something shifted. Something went very, very cold. The meeting was set for Sunday. Their house. A mansion, Kamal said casually. Don't be intimidated. I didn't answer. I spent the next 2 days staring at my closet. The silk saris, the gold bangles, the pearl earrings my husband bought me on our 10th anniversary. I passed them all. Instead, I chose a plain cotton sari. Faded, simple, almost worn. I removed my rings, left my bangles in the drawer. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. And for the first time in years, I felt small. On Sunday morning, Kamal picked me up himself. He didn't hug me, didn't even look at me properly. Amy, he said nervously, eyes flicking over my clothes. Good. This is good. Good. As if my humiliation was a costume. During the drive, he gave instructions like a manager briefing an employee. Don't talk too much. Don't ask questions. Let me speak. And whatever you do, don't mention money. I stared out the window. I buried your father with my own hands, I said quietly. I faced banks, lawyers, creditors. And now you're afraid I'll embarrass you with words. He didn't answer. That silence hurt more than any insult. Their house stood at the end of a gated street. Tall walls, iron gates, guards. As we stepped inside, the air changed. Cool, polished, controlled. A woman approached us. Tall, elegant, dressed in silk. This was Mrs. Kapoor, my daughter-in-law's mother. She smiled thinly. So, she said, eyes sweeping over me. This is Kamal's mother? Yes, Kamal replied quickly. My Amy. She looked at me again. Longer this time. Please, she said politely, but not warmly, come in. Her living room was enormous. Crystal chandeliers, white sofas, art that probably cost more than my entire house. I folded my hands in my lap. Quiet, observing, listening. Mr. Kapoor joined us. He didn't greet me. He nodded. So, he said, settling into his chair, tell us about yourself, Nana G. Kamal shot me a warning look. I swallowed. I am a widow, I said softly. I raised my son alone. Mrs. Kapoor smiled, but her eyes sharpened. And what did your husband do? I paused. then remembered Kamal's instructions. He passed early, I said simply. We lived modestly. Modestly. A lie. A necessary one. Mrs. Kapoor leaned toward her husband. She seems very simple, she whispered. Not quietly enough. I heard it. Every word. My face burned. Lunch was worse. They spoke about vacations, investments, properties abroad. I chewed slowly, silent. At one point, Mrs. Kapoor turned to her daughter, Ria. You see, she said, smiling, background matters. A girl adjusts according to the family she marries into. Her eyes flicked to me. Ria smiled politely. Kamal shifted uncomfortably. I could see the tension in his jaw, but he said nothing, not one word in my defense. Then Mr. Kapoor laughed. We were worried Kamal might come from complications, he said. But, thankfully, simplicity runs in the family. The table laughed. I didn't. My hands trembled beneath the table. I felt myself shrinking. And then something unexpected happened. Mrs. Kapoor leaned closer to me. Nanaji, she said sweetly, you must be very grateful your son is marrying into our family. I looked up, met her eyes, and for the first time, I smiled. Yes, I said softly, very grateful. But inside, a voice whispered, they think I am weak. They think I am poor. They think they can look down on me. And suddenly, I understood everything. This wasn't a meeting. It was a test, and they believed I was failing it. As we stood to leave, Mrs. Kapoor pulled Kamal aside. I pretended not to listen, but I heard every word. She'll need guidance, Mrs. Kapoor murmured. She doesn't seem experienced. Kamal nodded. I'll handle it, he said. Handle me. On the drive home, Kamal finally spoke. You did well, Amy, he said. They liked that you were quiet. I looked at him, truly looked. My silence, I said slowly, was not weakness. He frowned. What do you mean? I smiled faintly. Nothing, I said. Just an old woman's thought. But that night, alone in my room, I opened a locked drawer. Inside were documents, bank papers, property deeds, accounts Kamal didn't know existed, my husband's legacy, my legacy. I touched them gently and whispered to myself, they think I am naive. I laughed softly in the dark. They have no idea who they just invited into their lives. They thought the wedding day would seal my silence. They didn't know it would awaken something dangerous inside me. The wedding date was fixed within a week. Too fast. That was the first sign. When families rush a wedding, it's never about love. It's about control. Kamal called me that night. Excitement forced into his voice. Amy, they want a simple ceremony, he said. Small, classy, nothing flashy. I smiled into the phone. Of course, I replied. Simple is best. But my heart was heavy. Simple for them meant invisible for me. The days leading up to the wedding passed in a blur. Ria never called me once. Not to ask my opinion. Not to ask about customs. Not even to ask how I was. Everything went through Mrs. Kapoor. Everything. One afternoon, Kamal came by with a list. Amy, he said, avoiding my eyes, they've planned the seating. I took the paper. Bride's family, front row. Business associates, front row. Distant relatives, second row. My name, third row. Side aisle. I felt my throat tighten. Kamal, I asked softly, where will I sit? He cleared his throat. It's just logistics, he said quickly. Please don't make this difficult. I folded the paper carefully. I won't, I said. But inside, humiliation bloomed like poison. The wedding day arrived. Their venue was a palace disguised as a hotel. Gold everywhere. Crystal everywhere. Power everywhere. I arrived alone. No escort. No announcement. Just a plain sari and quiet steps. As I walked in, I heard whispers. That's the groom's mother? She looks so ordinary. I heard she has nothing. Nothing. The word followed me like a shadow. I sat where they told me. Third row. I watched as Mrs. Kapoor glided in, adorned in diamonds that caught the light like knives. She didn't look at me. Not once. The ceremony began. Mantras echoed. Flowers fell. Cameras flashed. I searched Kamal's face. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Then came the speeches. Mr. Kapoor stood first. He smiled broadly. We are proud, he announced, to welcome Kamal into our family. a self-made young man, rising despite humble beginnings. The guests applauded. Humble beginnings. My chest tightened. Then Mrs. Kapoor took the microphone. This marriage, she said sweetly, shows how upbringing matters. Values, discipline, even simplicity. Her eyes flicked to me. I felt every gaze turn. My face burned. And then she laughed. We are grateful Kamal understands the importance of marrying up. Laughter. Soft. Polite. Cruel. My ears rang. Kamal smiled. Smiled. That was the moment something inside me broke. During the rituals, Rhea leaned toward Kamal. I wasn't meant to hear her, but I did. At least your mother knows her place, she whispered. I could see the smugness in her eyes. I could see the relief in Kamal's. He nodded. Agreed. I swallowed my tears. Not now, I told myself. Not here. At the reception, guests approached me out of obligation. Some were kind. Most were curious. So one woman asked, how did you manage your son's education on such limited means? I smiled. Carefully, I said. Another leaned in. You must feel lucky, she whispered, that your son married so well. Lucky. As if my worth was borrowed. Then came the final blow. The gifts. Mr. Kapoor announced proudly, we are gifting the couple a penthouse, fully furnished. Applause thundered. Then he added, casually, and of course, Kamal's side has generously contributed blessings. Laughter again. Blessings. Not even symbolic respect. Kamal didn't object. Didn't correct. Didn't defend. I stood slowly. My legs trembled, but my spine was straight. The room quieted. I wasn't scheduled to speak. Mrs. Kapoor's eyes widened slightly. I took the microphone. My name is Nana May, I began. I am Kamal's mother. The room waited. I raised my son with love, I continued softly. And today I give him my blessings. I paused. Silence. May you always remember, I said, that pride is fragile and truth has patience. Some frowned. Some laughed nervously. I handed back the mic. Mrs. Kapoor forced a smile. That was sweet, she said later. Very appropriate. Appropriate. Like a servant who knows when to bow. That night, back home, I locked my door. I sat on the bed, and I cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just tears sliding down a face that had endured too much. Then I stood, went to the cupboard, pulled out the files again. Accounts, properties, letters, everything Kamal believed was gone. Everything he believed I didn't have. I gave you dignity, I whispered. You chose humiliation. My phone buzzed. A message from Kamal. Thank you for behaving today. Behaving. I closed my eyes and finally allowed myself to smile, because now I knew. They had underestimated me completely, and the wedding was only the beginning. Every family hides its secrets. The mistake is believing they'll stay buried forever. The house felt different after the wedding, quieter, heavier, as if the walls themselves were listening. I returned alone that night. No son, no daughter-in-law, just me, and the echo of humiliation still clinging to my skin. I removed my sari slowly, folding it with care. The same sari they had judged, the same cloth they believed defined my worth. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at my hands. These hands had signed contracts, built businesses, buried a husband, raised a son, and now they trembled, not from fear, from restraint. The next morning, Kamal called. His voice was lighter now. Relaxed. As expected, he said. They were very happy with the wedding. I said nothing. And Rhea, he continued, she appreciated how cooperative you were. Cooperative, like a trained animal. I'm glad, I replied softly. He hesitated. Amy, there's something else. Here it comes, I thought. They've invited us for dinner next week, he said. All of us. A family dinner. A performance. What kind of dinner? I asked. Just family, he said quickly. Casual. No need to dress up. No need to dress up. No need to exist. I'll be there, I said. He exhaled in relief. Thank you for understanding. The call ended. I didn't move for a long time. That afternoon, my sister-in-law Shabana came to visit. She entered quietly, eyes darting around. Nana, she said softly, people are talking. I raised an eyebrow. People always talk. She sat closer. They're saying you're dependent now. That Kamal married into money because you had nothing left to offer. I smiled faintly. And what do you think? She hesitated. I think you're hiding something. I met her gaze. What makes you say that? She leaned in. Because I remember your husband, she whispered. And I remember the men who came to this house. The papers. The late-night meetings. My smile grew colder. Memories can be dangerous, I said. She swallowed. Are they? She asked. Yes, I replied. For people who assume too much. After she left, I unlocked the drawer again. Inside were documents no one else had ever seen. Accounts in my name. Properties registered decades ago. A trust my husband had created for me. Not Kamal. Me. He had known. He had warned me. One day, my husband had said, our son will forget where he came from. I hadn't believed him then. I believed him now. That evening, Ria called. Her first call to me ever. Nana G, she said sweetly, we're so excited to have you over. I could hear Mrs. Kapoor in the background. We're keeping it very simple, Ria continued. Just close family. Of course, I replied. She hesitated. I hope you don't feel uncomfortable, she added. You know, with our lifestyle. I smiled. Comfort, I said softly, comes from within. She laughed nervously. Yes, of course. The call ended. The dinner night arrived. I dressed carefully. Still simple. Still unassuming. But this time, my posture was different. My eyes were sharper. I wasn't attending as a guest. I was attending as an observer. The Kapoor house was buzzing. Laughter. Crystal glasses clinking. Power on display. Mrs. Kapoor hugged Ria dramatically when we arrived. Kamal, Beta, she said. Come, sit near us. She gestured toward the head of the table, then glanced at me. Oh, Nana G, she said casually. You can sit there. The far end, near the kitchen, like staff. Kamal didn't object. Again, dinner conversation flowed around me, not to me. Investments, connections, upcoming deals. Then Mr. Kapoor spoke. Kamal, he said proudly, with your background, you must feel fortunate. Kamal laughed. Yes, sir, he replied. I've come a long way. I felt the sting. My son, rewriting his own history. Then Mrs. Kapoor turned to me. Nana G, she said, smiling thinly. You must be relieved your responsibilities are over. Responsibilities? I echoed. Yes, she said. With Kamal settled, you can finally rest. Rest. Retire. Disappear. I nodded slowly. Yes, I said. Some responsibilities do end. Others begin. After dinner, Ria pulled Kamal aside. I pretended to admire a painting. You should convince her to move, Ria whispered. Into something smaller. Simpler. Mrs. Kapoor joined them. Old people need structure, she said. And supervision. Supervision. I turned slowly. Is there a problem? I asked calmly. They froze. Oh no, Ria said quickly. We were just discussing comfort. Good, I replied. Because I am very comfortable where I am. Mrs. Kapoor smiled tightly. We'll see, she said. As we were leaving, Mr. Kapoor stopped me. Nana G, he said, voice low. I admire humility. So do I replied. But, he continued, humility should know its limits. I met his eyes. And power, I said softly, should know its consequences. His smile faltered. Just for a second. That night, Kamal confronted me in the car. Why did you say that? He hissed. Say what? You embarrass me. I laughed quietly. No, I said. I merely existed. He clenched the steering wheel. You're making them uncomfortable. I leaned closer. Good, I whispered. Discomfort is how truth wakes up. He stared at me. For the first time, uncertain. Back home, I locked my door again, sat at my desk, and made a call. A number I hadn't dialed in years. It rang once, twice. Then, Nana May, a familiar voice said. I was wondering when you'd call. I closed my eyes. It's time, I said. On the other end, he chuckled softly. I'll prepare everything, he replied. They won't know what hit them. I hung up, looked at my reflection, and whispered. They think I'm poor. They think I'm naive. They think I'm powerless. The deepest betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the ones who know exactly where to strike. The betrayal didn't announce itself. It slipped in quietly, like a thief who already had the key. 3 days after that dinner, Kamal showed up at my house without calling. That alone was strange. He never came unannounced anymore. I was in the living room sorting old letters, my husband's handwriting still steady, still kind, when I heard the door open. I looked up. Kamal stood there, not smiling, not nervous, cold. "Amy," he said flatly, "we need to talk. Now." My heart tightened, but my face stayed calm. "Sit," I said. "Have tea." "No," he snapped. "This won't take long." That's when I noticed the envelope in his hand. Thick. Official. My name typed neatly on the front. "What is that?" I asked. He didn't answer. He walked past me and placed it on the table like a verdict. I picked it up slowly. Legal letterhead. My stomach dropped. "Kamal," I said carefully. "Why are lawyers sending me letters?" He finally looked at me, and in his eyes there was no sun, only calculation. "Amy," he said, voice rehearsed, "this is for your own good." I laughed softly. "That sentence," I said, "has always been followed by pain." He exhaled impatiently. "Ria's parents are concerned," he continued, "about your living situation, about stability." "Stability? Go on," I said. "They think it's better," he said, "if you move into assisted living. Somewhere appropriate." The room tilted. "You want me to leave my home," I said slowly. "Our home," he corrected. I looked at him. "No," I said quietly. "This house was bought with my money. My name is on the deed." He hesitated. Just a fraction. Then, "That's not entirely accurate anymore." The words hit me like a slap. "What do you mean?" I whispered. He slid another paper across the table. A transfer document. My signature. Forged. My vision blurred. "You signed this," he said quickly. "Last year, when you were ill." I stood up so fast the chair scraped loudly against the floor. "I would remember signing away my own house," I said, my voice shaking. He looked away. "You trusted me," he muttered. "You always do." That was the moment I understood. The betrayal wasn't coming. It had already happened. My legs felt weak, but I forced myself to stand tall. "You stole from me," I said. "No," he snapped. "I protected our future." "Our?" I echoed bitterly. "Or yours?" He slammed his hand on the table. "Do you have any idea how they look at us?" he shouted. "At you." I stared at him. "You mean how they look down on me?" "Yes," he yelled. "And I won't let you ruin my marriage." There it was. The truth. "I carried you for 9 months," I said quietly. "I starved so you could eat. And now you erase me because I embarrass you." He didn't answer. He couldn't. The doorbell rang. I flinched. Kamal opened the door. 2 people walked in. A man in a suit. And Mrs. Kapoor. She smiled when she saw me. "Nana G," she said sweetly, "we hope we're not intruding." My chest tightened. "What is this?" I asked. Mrs. Kapoor gestured to the lawyer. "We thought it would be best," she said, "to discuss things openly. Openly. In my own home. With my son standing beside my enemy." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Mrs. May," he said, "we're here to ensure a smooth transition." "Transition to what?" I asked. Mrs. Kapoor answered. "To dignity," she said. "At your age." I laughed. A sharp, broken sound. "You came to remove me," I said. She smiled wider. "We came to help," she replied. The lawyer began listing things. "Your son has agreed to manage your assets. Your residence will be sold. Arrangements will be made for your care." "Stop," I said loudly. They froze. I turned to Kamal. "You planned this," I said. "With them." He looked down. "You left me no choice." "No," I said. "You chose." Mrs. Kapoor leaned forward. "Nana G," she said softly, "this is how families evolve. Elders step aside. Step aside. Like furniture." I took a deep breath. Then I did something none of them expected. I laughed. Calmly. Deeply. Kamal looked up, confused. "Is something funny?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "You've just shown me your hand." Mrs. Kapoor frowned. "I don't understand." "You will," I replied. "Very soon." I walked to my bedroom. They followed. I opened the locked cupboard, pulled out a file, placed it on the bed. This, I said, is the original deed. In my name. The lawyer frowned. But, and this, I continued, pulling another folder, is the trust my husband created. Irrevocable. Also in my name. Kamal's face went pale. You didn't know? I asked him gently. Mrs. Kapoor stood abruptly. That's impossible, she snapped. I smiled. You assumed I was poor, I said. You assumed I was ignorant. You assumed wrong. The lawyer began flipping pages. His expression changed. This changes things, he muttered. Mrs. Kapoor's voice rose. You hid this, she accused. No, I said. You never bothered to ask. Kamal sank onto the bed. Amy, he whispered. I looked at him. Really looked. This, I said, was your betrayal. Not theirs. Tears filled his eyes. I was afraid, he said. They control everything. I shook my head. No, I replied. They control you. Mrs. Kapoor grabbed her purse. This conversation isn't over, she said sharply. Oh, I replied calmly. It's just beginning. They left. The door slammed. Silence followed. Kamal knelt in front of me. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't think you'd fight back. That hurt more than anything else. You didn't think I was capable, I said. He couldn't deny it. I stepped past him. I raised you to stand tall, I said. You chose to kneel. That night, after he left, I made another call. The same number. It's worse, I said. The voice on the other end was calm. Good, he replied. Then we proceed. I hung up, sat alone, and whispered into the dark. They tried to erase me. My lips curved into a quiet, dangerous smile. They just reminded me who I am. I smiled. Let them. The moment you stop begging for love is the moment they realize they're losing control. The confrontation didn't happen in a room. It happened in the air between us. Thick, heavy, unforgiving. The morning after they tried to erase me, I woke before dawn. I hadn't slept. My husband's photograph sat on the bedside table. His eyes looked calmer than mine felt. You always said this day would come, I whispered to him. You just didn't tell me it would be our own son. The kettle whistled in the kitchen. Sharp. Accusing. I poured tea I didn't drink. Then my phone rang. Kamal. I stared at the screen. Let it ring. Again. And again. Finally, I answered. Amy, he said, his voice cracking, we need to talk. We already did, I replied flatly. No, he said urgently. We didn't. Not really. I closed my eyes. Come, I said. One last time. He arrived an hour later. Alone. No lawyers. No Kapoors. Just a man who suddenly remembered he had a mother. He stood at the door, unsure. Like a child who knows he's done wrong, but hopes forgiveness might still be free. You can sit, I said. He sat. Silence pressed down on us. I didn't sleep, he said. Neither did I. He rubbed his face. They're furious, he muttered. Good, I replied. He looked up sharply. You don't understand, he said. Ria's father, he's powerful. He won't let this go. I leaned forward. Neither will I. His eyes filled. I was scared, he said. They made it sound so simple. Just papers. Just formalities. Formalities, I echoed. That's what you call stealing a woman's life. He flinched. I never meant to hurt you. That's the lie people tell themselves, I said quietly, so they can sleep at night. He reached for my hand. I pulled it away. Don't, I said. Not yet. His voice broke. They said you'd be fine. That you'd be taken care of. By strangers, I replied. In a place where people forget names. He stared at the floor. I didn't know you had all that, he said weakly. That, I snapped, is exactly the problem. I stood, walked to the window. Outside, the neighborhood stirred. Life going on. I raised you to value people, I said, my back to him. Not status, not money. They humiliated me, he blurted. I turned slowly. Who? I asked. Everyone, he said. At dinner. At meetings. They talk about you like you're an inconvenience. I laughed bitterly. So you decided to dispose of me? He covered his face. I just wanted peace. You chose silence, I said. And silence is how injustice survives. There was a knock on the door. We both froze. I already knew. I opened it. Mrs. Kapoor stood there. Without a smile. Without pretense. So she said coolly, This is where you've been hiding. Kamal shot up. Ma'am, please. Enough, she snapped. This has gone too far. I folded my arms. You entered my home uninvited yesterday, I said calmly. You forged documents. You threatened displacement. She scoffed. You should have stayed in your place. There it was. Raw. Ugly. My place, I repeated. Yes, she said sharply. You don't belong in our circles. I felt something settle inside me. Hard. Steady. You don't belong in my house, I replied. She laughed. You think a few documents make you powerful? No, I said. Truth does. She turned to Kamal. You told me she was weak, she said coldly. You told me she'd crumble. Kamal looked at the floor. I misjudged, he whispered. She slapped him. The sound cracked through the room. My heart pounded, but I did not move. Never misjudge again, she hissed. I stepped forward. Don't touch my son, I said. She turned on me. Or what? She challenged. I smiled. Or I make sure everyone knows, I said softly, how you treat women who outlive their usefulness. Her eyes narrowed. You wouldn't dare. I reached for my phone. I already have, I said. Her confidence wavered. What are you talking about? She snapped. I recorded yesterday's meeting, I replied. Every word. Every threat. Kamal's head snapped up. You did, he whispered. I told you, I said calmly. You underestimated me. Mrs. Kapoor's face hardened. You think recordings scare us, she said. We bury things. I leaned closer. So do I replied. And I've had more practice. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Then she straightened. This isn't over, she said coldly. No, I agreed. It's not. She turned to leave. At the door, she paused. You'll regret this, she said. I met her gaze. So will you. The door closed. Kamal collapsed onto the sofa. They'll destroy me, he whispered. I sat beside him. They already almost did, I said. Now you decide who you stand with. He looked at me, truly looked. I don't deserve you, he said. No, I replied. But you might still earn me. He nodded slowly. What do we do now? He asked. I stood. We fight, I said. Quietly. Carefully. He swallowed. Against them? Yes, I said. And against the version of yourself you almost became. That night, I opened another file. One I had hoped never to use. My husband's notes. Names. Dates. Connections. I had protected it for decades. For peace. For family. I traced his handwriting. He knew, I whispered. The phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Nana May, a male voice said, smooth and low. You've made powerful enemies. I've survived worse, I replied. There was a pause. Then a chuckle. Good, he said. Because tomorrow things get ugly. The line went dead. I sat in the dark. Heart steady. Mind sharp. They thought the confrontation would break me. Instead, it woke me up. Some secrets don't sleep. They wait. The truth didn't come screaming. It arrived slowly, like footsteps in a dark hallway. Closer. Closer. After that call, I didn't turn on the lights. I sat in the darkness and listened to my own breathing. My husband's notebook lay open on my lap. Pages yellowed with time. Ink faded but steady. He had always written neatly, carefully, as if he knew someone else might read his words one day. Someone like me. Why didn't you tell me? I whispered into the empty room. The silence answered back. The next morning, Kamal returned early. His eyes were red. His shoulders slumped. He looked smaller. I couldn't sleep, he said. Neither could I replied. He noticed the notebook. What's that? He asked. I hesitated. Then I said, your father's legacy. His hands trembled slightly as he sat down. Amy, he said quietly, what's happening? I opened the notebook, and the past opened with it. Your father wasn't just a simple man, I began. Kamal frowned. I know that, he said. He worked hard. Yes, I said. And he saw things, heard things, things powerful people didn't want remembered. Kamal leaned forward. What things? I read aloud. Names, businesses, donations that weren't donations, deals signed in shadows. Kamal's face drained of color. These are political families, he whispered. Yes, I said. And corporate ones, including the Kapoors. His breath caught. That's not possible. I looked at him. Your father helped expose fraud, I said softly. But he did it quietly, safely, or so he thought. Kamal swallowed hard. Is that why His voice broke. I closed the notebook. They called it a heart attack, I said. But your father always said. I paused. That the heart breaks long before it stops. Kamal stood up abruptly. You're saying they killed him? He asked. I'm saying, I replied, that truth makes enemies. And enemies wait. He ran his hands through his hair. This is insane, he muttered. Is it? I asked. He looked at the notebook again. I remember, he said slowly. People watching our house. Strange calls. Yes, I said. And that's why I acted small. Poor. Forgettable. He stared at me. You were pretending, he said. For decades, I replied. His mouth fell open. All this time, I learned early, I said, that women who look harmless survive longer. The doorbell rang. Sharp. Unexpected. Kamal froze. My heart didn't race. I had been waiting. I opened the door. Rhea stood there. Alone. Her eyes darted behind me. Nana, she said stiffly, we need to talk. Kamal appeared beside me. What are you doing here? He asked. She stepped inside without waiting for permission. I didn't know, she said quickly. About the house. About the papers. I studied her face. Fear, but not guilt. What do you know now? I asked. She hesitated. My father is furious, she admitted. He thinks you're dangerous. I smiled faintly. He's right. She swallowed. He says you're manipulating Kamal. I laughed. Kamal, I said gently, am I manipulating you? He looked at Rhea. No, he said firmly. I manipulated myself. Her eyes widened. I didn't ask for this, she said defensively. I just wanted a clean life. Clean. I repeated. Built on lies. She bristled. You don't understand our world, she snapped. There are rules. Yes, I replied. And women like me are supposed to disappear. She looked away. They said you'd step aside, she muttered. I leaned closer. And you believe them. She crossed her arms. My father won't stop, she warned. He thinks you're bluffing. I'm not, I said. Kamal spoke up. Rhea, he said quietly. Did you know they planned to put Amy in a facility? Her silence answered. You knew, he said, voice rising. She looked at him, tears forming. I thought it would be temporary, she whispered. That's how erasure begins, I said softly. She turned to me. What do you want? She asked. I held her gaze. Truth, I said. And accountability. She shook her head. You're asking for war. I smiled. No, I replied. They already declared it. That evening, after she left, Kamal sat beside me. I didn't know who I married, he said quietly. Now you do, I replied. He hesitated. Amy, if what you're saying is true about Abu, then we're in danger. I closed the notebook carefully. Yes, I said. We always were. The phone rang again. Same unknown number. I answered. You found the notebook, the voice said calmly. My breath caught. Who is this? I demanded. A friend of your husband, the voice replied. Someone he trusted. Why call now? I asked. Because the Kapoors are moving, he said. And because what your husband left behind was never just for you. A pause. It was insurance. The line went dead. I stared at the notebook. Insurance. Kamal looked at me. What does that mean? He asked. I turned the last page. And froze. Tucked inside was a key. Small. Metal. Cold. Attached to a tag with one word written in my husband's hand. Locker. My heart began to pound. Whatever was hidden, they were willing to destroy families to keep it buried. I closed my fist around the key and whispered, so this is why they're afraid. When the truth surfaces, it doesn't bring peace. It brings a storm. The key felt heavier than it looked. Cold in my palm. Unforgiving. I didn't tell Kamal what I was thinking. Some thoughts are too dangerous to say out loud. That night, the house felt different. Every creak sounded like a footstep. Every shadow felt watched. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my husband's voice echoing in my head. If anything happens to me, trust the quiet ones. Tears slipped into my hair. I trusted the wrong person, I whispered. By morning, Kamal was unraveling. He paced the living room, rubbing his temples. They're calling nonstop, he said. My in-laws. They're lawyers. People I don't recognize. Answer none of them, I said. He stopped. This is my fault, he said suddenly. I handed them access to you. I looked at him. I handed you my trust, I replied. You chose what to do with it. He nodded slowly. I forgot who you were, he said. Yes, I agreed. You did. Rhea returned that afternoon. This time, she looked different. No makeup. Hair pulled back. Eyes swollen. I didn't sleep, she said. Neither did we, Kamal replied coldly. She turned to me. Nana, she said quietly. I need to tell you something. I waited. She sat down, hands shaking. My father is hiding money, she said. A lot of it. Kamal stiffened. Offshore accounts, she continued. Fake charities. Shell companies. I felt my chest tighten. And you're telling me this because... I asked. Because he thinks your husband knew, she whispered. And because he's afraid you know too. Silence fell. So that's it, I said softly. The fear. She nodded. He said you're dangerous because you don't need them, she added. I smiled sadly. Independence frightens men like him. Kamal turned to her. Did you help them? He asked. She looked away. I didn't stop them, she admitted. That hurt him. I could see it. I married you, he said, voice cracking, but you chose them. Tears streamed down her face. I was raised to survive, she said. They taught me family is power. I leaned forward. And what happens, I asked gently, when power demands a sacrifice? She didn't answer, because she already knew. After she left, Kamal collapsed into a chair. I don't recognize my life, he said. I sat beside him. Life does that, I said, when illusions die. He looked at me. Amy, he said softly, are you scared? I thought of the key, the notebook, the call. Yes, I admitted, but fear no longer owns me. He nodded. I'll stand with you, he said. I searched his face. Even if it costs you everything. I asked. He swallowed. Yes, that night, I dreamed of my husband. He stood by a locked door. You're late, he said gently. I was protecting our son, I replied. He smiled sadly. And now, he asked. I'm protecting the truth, I said. He handed me the key. I woke up crying. The next morning, a package arrived. No return address. Inside, photographs. Old. Grainy. My husband sitting with men I recognized, including Mr. Kapoor. My hand shook. Attached was a note. They think you won't open the locker. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. They're testing you, the voice said. What's in the locker? I asked. A pause. Proof, he replied. And a choice. What choice? I demanded. Expose everything, he said, or disappear quietly. The line went dead. I sat at the table. Photos spread out like a crime scene. Kamal stared. This will destroy them, he whispered. Yes, I said. And us. He looked at me. What do we do? I closed my eyes, felt the weight of years, of silence, of pretending. We open the locker, I said. His breath hitched. When, he asked. I opened my eyes. Tomorrow, I replied. Before they stop us. Thunder rolled outside. The storm had arrived. The truth doesn't just expose enemies. It exposes the cracks inside the people you love. The bank smelled like cold metal and old paper. That smell stayed with me. It clung to my skin like guilt. We arrived early, Kamal and I, before the city fully woke. The sky was still pale, uncertain, like it didn't want to witness what we were about to do. Kamal kept looking over his shoulder. Relax, I said quietly. They don't move this fast. But my heart knew better. People with power always move faster than fear. The locker was in my husband's name. Still, that alone told me something. They hadn't dared touch it. Not yet. The clerk glanced at the key, then at me. Identification, he said. I handed it over with steady hands. Inside, my chest was screaming. What if this destroys Kamal? What if this destroys me? The clerk led us down a narrow hallway. Each step echoed, louder than it should have. He stopped. Locker 317, he said. I slid the key in. It resisted. For a second, I thought. Then it turned. Click. The door opened. Inside were files, USB drives, envelopes sealed with red wax, and a letter. On top, my husband's handwriting. I reached for it first. My fingers trembled. Kamal watched me. Read it, he whispered. I unfolded the letter. My love, if you are reading this, then silence failed. I am sorry, not for what I did, but for what you will have to face. Tears blurred my vision. I collected truths no one wanted collected. I stayed alive by pretending to be small. Just like you. I laughed softly through tears. You always knew me, I whispered. Inside this locker is proof. Enough to bring down families. Enough to protect ours, if used wisely. Trust no one completely. Not even our son. Power reaches through blood. Kamal flinched. I closed my eyes. That sentence hurt, but it was honest. Kamal spoke quietly. Does he think I'd betray you again? I looked at him. He feared what pressure could do, I said gently. So do I. He nodded, ashamed. I won't, he said. Not again. I believed him. And that terrified me, because belief is a vulnerability. We went through the files, each one heavier than the last. Fake foundations, bribes, deaths labeled as accidents, and names, so many names, including Ria's father, including men on television, men who smiled for cameras. I felt sick. This isn't just about us, Kamal said hoarsely. No, I replied. It never was. My husband hadn't been protecting money. He had been protecting time. Time for the truth to find the right hands. My phone buzzed. Ria. I hesitated, then answered. Nana, she said urgently, you can't open that locker. I closed my eyes. We already did, I replied. Silence. Then her breathing quickened. My father knows, she whispered. He's on his way. Kamal stiffened. Where are you? He demanded. At home, she replied. And I think I made a mistake. I softened. Which one? I asked gently. Choosing silence, she cried. I closed my eyes. Then choose differently now, I said. We left the bank through the back exit. My instinct screamed. Don't go home, I told Kamal. Where then? He asked. I thought of the voice on the phone. The quiet ally. The place your father trusted, I said. We arrived at a small law office hidden between closed shops. An old sign. Faded letters. Inside, a man waited. Gray hair. Sharp eyes. You finally opened it, he said. You knew, I replied. He nodded. I helped your husband collect the evidence, he said. And I helped keep it buried. Why? Kamal asked. Because timing matters, the man replied. And now the pressure is cracking. He looked at me. Are you ready to expose them? He asked. I hesitated. Exposure isn't clean, I said. It destroys collateral. He nodded. Families, he said. Yes, I replied. Including mine. Kamal stood up suddenly. I need to talk to Ria, he said. I grabbed his arm. Not alone, I warned. I need to know where she stands, he said. Truly. I let him go. That was my mistake. An hour passed. Then 2. No word. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Nana May, a familiar voice said. Mr. Kapoor. My blood ran cold. You raised a difficult woman, he said calmly. What do you want? I demanded. Balance, he replied. Your son is with us. My heart stopped. Let him go, I whispered. Give us the evidence, he said smoothly, and you'll all walk away. I closed my eyes. Or, I asked. There was a pause. Or history repeats itself, he replied. The line went dead. I stood frozen. The lawyer looked at me. They've crossed the line, he said quietly. Yes, I replied. My hands clenched. Inside me, something broke. Not fear. Hope. I straightened my back. Picked up the files. They think they still control the story, I said. The lawyer nodded. They always do, he replied. Until they don't. I looked at the door. At the city. At the life I thought I had. They wanted silence, I whispered. They created a witness. When they force you to choose between your child and your conscience, they believe you'll break. They forget what mothers are made of. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. That came later. First, there was silence. A thick, suffocating silence that wrapped itself around my chest and refused to loosen. My son was gone. Taken. Because of me. Because of truth. The lawyer watched me carefully. Nana May, he said gently, we need to act fast. I nodded. My hands were steady. That scared even me. What do they want? He asked. You know, I replied. The evidence. He exhaled slowly. And if we give it, they'll return Kamal, I said. Or what's left of him. The lawyer closed his eyes. They may not, he said. I know, I replied. That was the worst part. My phone rang again. Mr. Kapoor. I answered. You have 1 hour, he said calmly. No police. No media. Just you. Where? I asked. He named a place. The Old Cliff Road. My stomach turned. The same road where my husband used to drive at night. I'm coming, I said. Alone, he warned. I smiled bitterly. I've always been alone, I replied. The line went dead. I looked at the lawyer. If I don't return, I began. You will, he said firmly. You're stronger than they think. I nodded. Release everything if I don't, I said. He hesitated. I'll do it the moment your phone goes dark, he promised. Good. They would never win completely. The road was quiet. Too quiet. The cliffs rose like dark witnesses. I parked where he told me to. Headlights approached. 2 cars. One behind me. One in front. I stepped out slowly. Mr. Kapoor emerged, immaculate as ever. On time, he said. Where's my son? I demanded. He gestured. The trunk of the car opened. Kamal stumbled out. Bruised. Alive. My knees nearly gave out. Amy, he whispered. I ran to him. Held his face. They didn't break you, I said. They tried, he replied faintly. Mr. Kapoor cleared his throat. Enough sentiment, he said. The evidence. I turned to him. You taught your daughter well, I said. She knows how to survive. His eyes narrowed. She told you, he asked. She warned me, I replied. Too late for you. I pulled out a folder. Not the locker. A copy. He reached for it. I held it back. You let him go first, I said. He laughed. You have no leverage, he said. I smiled. Yes, I replied. I do. I raised my phone. Live stream, I said. 1 tap. His face changed. You wouldn't, he hissed. I leaned closer. I buried my husband, I whispered. You think I fear you? Silence. Then a nod. He signaled. Kamal was released. He stumbled toward me. I wrapped my arm around him. Then I handed Mr. Kapoor the folder. He opened it. His smile faded. This is incomplete, he snapped. I met his eyes. That's the point, I said. Sirens wailed in the distance. His head snapped up. You called the police, he shouted. No, I replied calmly. I called journalists. His face twisted in rage. You old witch, he spat. I smiled. I learned from men like you. The sirens grew louder. He backed away. This isn't over, he said. No, I agreed. It's documented. He disappeared into the night. Kamal collapsed against me. I thought you'd choose the evidence, he whispered. I held him tighter. I chose both, I said. He sobbed. For the first time since he was a boy. We sat there until the lights arrived. Questions followed. Cameras. Voices. I said nothing. Not yet. Later, at home, Kamal looked at me. You risked everything, he said. So did you, I replied. He shook his head. I was weak, he said. You were human, I corrected. There's a difference. He hesitated. Amy, what happens now? I looked at the final file on the table. The real one. What happens, I said softly, is that the truth finishes what it started. My phone buzzed. A message from the lawyer. Ready when you are. I closed my eyes. Thought of my husband. Of silence. Of pretending. No more, I whispered. I pressed send. The truth doesn't just free you. Sometimes it awakens the monsters you never saw coming. The night air was cold. Sharp. It cut through my coat like a warning. Kamal clung to my hand. His fingers trembling. The world outside had changed in an hour. Headlines flashed across phones. Social media exploded. The evidence we had released was viral. I had anticipated chaos. I hadn't anticipated the speed. The doorbell rang. I didn't move. Kamal whispered, Amy, maybe we should call the police. I shook my head. No, not yet. Let's see who has courage left. The door opened. A courier. Nothing more. A small box. No markings. No note. I opened it slowly. Inside, a USB drive. My stomach tightened. On top, a single piece of paper. You think it's over. It's just begun. Kamal's eyes widened. Who sent this? He asked. I don't know, I said. But it isn't from an ally. I tucked it into my coat. We finish what we started, I said quietly. Tomorrow. He nodded, still unsure, still afraid. Then the phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. A low, calm voice said, "Good work exposing the first layer, Nana May. But the second layer will burn everything you love." I gritted my teeth. Who is this? Silence. Then a click. I hung up. Kamal looked at me. "What now?" he whispered. I held the USB drive tightly. "It's only the beginning," I said. "Your father's legacy isn't finished. And neither am I." He swallowed hard. Fear and pride tangled on his face. "We need allies," I said. "And fast." The city outside was quiet. Too quiet. As if it were waiting. Watching. Judging. I turned to the lawyer on call. "Are the journalists ready?" I asked. "Yes," he replied. "They're poised. The world is watching." "Good," I said. "Let them see who we are. And who they really are." A text buzzed on my phone. "Ria, I want to help. But my father, he knows. He's preparing something. Be careful." I typed back. "Meet me tomorrow. We play together or not at all." Her reply was quick. "Understood." I looked at Kamal. "Tomorrow," I said, "we confront everything. The truth, the lies, the power, the betrayal, and we decide who survives." He nodded, but I could see the fear lingering. Good. Fear sharpens you, focuses you. I turned to the window. The city lights flickered, like distant stars, or like hidden eyes. I whispered, "They underestimated me. They still do, and that will be their downfall." The USB drive felt heavy in my pocket, not because of what it held, but because of what it promised. Secrets waiting to explode, enemies waiting to strike, and a family ready to rise. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in decades, I smiled. The storm had only begun.